grounds. So that's unfortunate because both teams won last week. And, Darlington with a new coaching staff had to be excited about their win last week and looking forward to playing a nearby rival. And this happens. So shame on all involved who caused these issues. And I think all of us who are high school football fans are hoping that you're caught and you're dealt with in the most severe manner possible and never, ever allowed back into a high school football game in South Carolina. It's just ridiculous. It is just ridiculous. Are we going to have to go to where we play without fans? Is that what we're going to have to get to because of you idiots out there who keep causing these disruptions? Take your stuff somewhere else. I mean, look, if you want to go fight, go find yourself an open field somewhere and beat yourselves into a pulp. Okay? Don't mess with everybody else's leisure time and pleasure and enjoyment of being at a high school football game. This is crazy. It is absolutely crazy. And, I mean, we don't want our high school football games to become events where, it's you have armed guards standing around because they have to preserve the peace and quiet. I mean, look, it's just a couple of events here, I know, amongst the 100 football games being played, 100-plus football games being played in South Carolina, but one is one too many. We've had these incidents before. So it is time for somebody to get a grip. And maybe it's time for some parents to step up and take control of their juveniles and find out what's going on and, put a board or put a foot somewhere where it belongs because these people are out of control in some cases. So anyway, rough start to the evening from that standpoint. As for the football games themselves, we're starting to get scores in here to the high school football scoreboard. And let's go ahead and catch you up on the final scores that we do have in so far tonight. If you have a score and you want to share it with us, the way to reach us is to give us a call. 888-898-2525 is the phone number. That's 888-898-2525. JP will take the score from you. We will have several reporters joining us with scores as well and with reports as well. And we'll get to those folks here in just a little bit. All right. So let's fill you in on what we've got so far as we get underway here on the high school scoreboard, away from the news side of things and get to the sporting side of things and update you on the scores tonight. So in the upstate, we've got Crescent over Dixie, 58-7. Boiling Springs beat Malden 55-0. Sandy Creek of Georgia took down Greenwood tonight 41-7. And T.L. Hanna has defeated Greenville 28-17. That was expected to be one of the best games in the state tonight. And it looks like T.L. Hanna had their running game going in all likelihood, though they did throw a touchdown pass, I'm told, in this game. They obviously had their defense going. You hold Greenville to 17 points. You've done a really good job. 28-17, T.L. Hanna beats Greenville tonight up in the upstate of South Carolina. And let's go to the Midlands now, where it was AC Flora last night beating Dreer 60-13. Appling County of Georgia beat Aiken 54-13. Brooklyn Casey shuts out Airport in their rivalry game. They play it early, 49-0. Hampton County beats Allendale Fairfax 41-8. That's the consolidated new school there in Hampton County. And they beat Allendale Fairfax 41-8. Camden rolls over Lugoff Elgin, their rivalry game, by a score of 59-6. Gaffney all over Union County 63-7 tonight. Gilbert a winner over Batesburg Leesville 35-7. Last night, Hunter Kiner Tyler was a winner over Eau Claire 44-0. It was Lower Richland defeating Westwood last night in a good ball game. I believe Westwood led that game most of the way. Then LR came back and won it 24-21. And Columbia High Thursday night all over Pillion 48-28. Round the PD Grand Strand tonight. Good game over in Carolina Forest territory, and Somerville goes on the road, gets a hard-fought win over Carolina Forest, 33-26. Meantime, Myrtle Beach bounced back from its shellacking last week and shellacks Conway, 51-14, that final score. It was Hannah Pamplico beating North Central last night, 46-18. Cross over Hemingway, 46-8. South Florence takes out Oceanside, 28-6. A little bit more lopsided than maybe we thought going in. Manning shuts out Scotts Branch, 50-0. Silver Bluff shuts out Socastee, 46-0. And it was West Florence shutting out Lake City, 28-0. Low Country tonight. Ashley Ridge over Cane Bay, 33-12. David will join us from that game in just a moment. Fort Dorchester doubles up Buford, 34-17. James Island over Stall, big, 51-0. Lucy Beckham had no trouble with Wando tonight. That final score, 43-0. And on the Skeeza side of things, and I have to, while I'm chastising people tonight, I have to chastise Skeeza. Why can't you put your schedule on your website? You did it last week, and it was great. No schedule on your website today for your games today. What is up with that, Skeeza? Anyway, we're piecing it together as we go. Williamsburg Academy beat Palmetto Christian 52-6. Cardinal Newman over PD 55-7. Providence Athletic Club over Jefferson Davis 56-0. Lawrence Manning defeats Pinewood Prep 34-19. Patrick Henry over St. John's Christian 33-6. Bethesda knocks off John Paul II Catholic 44-0. Let's welcome in David Shelton, who has been on the grounds tonight. He was over at the Cane Bay Ashley Ridge game. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But David, as you probably are aware, two disgusting events tonight at high school football games in South Carolina. What can we do about it?
We can start locking the fans out of the games, and then that will catch everybody's attention, and people will start taking care of this. We have to police ourselves. Our crowds have to police themselves. I know they're there to watch a football game, but we're letting people into games that are going to the game. They don't care one iota about who wins the game. They're making plans on Friday afternoon. Hey, let's go to the so-and-so game and cause a fight. Let's go whip some you-know-what. We ain't got to take it from, and when I heard the two games, you're talking about two pretty bitter rivals, Hartsville and Darlington and Georgetown and Andrews. And, the other option is you don't play them anymore. You don't play these big rivalries, and that can't happen. I mean, we have to play these games, but we have to do something about kids getting in there. And, it's a shame. It really is a shame. I mean, I don't know who was going to win Hartsville Darlington, and I don't care. And I don't care who wins Andrews Georgetown, but those kids on those two teams all summer, they think about these games. We got to beat Andrews. We got to beat Georgetown. We got to beat Hartsville. Darlington has got a new coach with a new optimism. I don't know. I don't think they could beat Hartsville, but we got to. I mean, if we just have to clear the stadium and let the two teams play with the media and the officials, then that's what we got to do. And then when that happens enough, people will start policing themselves. They'll start breaking up these fights, or they'll start, calling the security over when it looks like these guys are up to bad news. And, it's not everybody. It's not the entire, it's a small, I think I heard you when I first got on. It's a small group of people who go to these games to cause trouble. They're not there to watch the game. There's no way we know who they are. You can't ask, hey, are you coming in here to watch the game, or you come in here to start a fight? Well, you know what they're going to say. But that's what happens. That's how these things happen.
You're right on. You're right on point, David. And listen, you're a man who travels the state talking to kids about other things, and maybe you should throw this into your conversation as well. Though I know you're working on the drug scene and trying to eliminate that as best as possible, but maybe you need to throw this in there into your conversations as well.
Well, I mean, we don't know what the fights were about, but could have been drugs involved. Could have been a bad drug deal. We don't know. I don't think that's probably the case. I think it's probably, again, I really believe that it's a group of people going to a game to cause trouble.
Mm-hmm.
That was their mission going in. I don't think if Georgetown's fans stay on their side and Andrews fans stay on their side, there's no way a fight can break out. There's no way. Unless it's, people on the same team, in the same crowd, well then, who knows? But, I mean, we don't know. We don't know that it was Darlington guys against Hartsville guys. It might have been Hartsville guys fighting the Hartsville guys or Darlington guys. We don't know. Mm-hmm. But like you said, if we find out, we need to lock them up. We need to find – well, we can't lock them up for that. That's public disturbance. I mean, they'll get out, but we ought to fine the living crap out of them. $5,000 fine, because one day, and it's happened before, and it's going to happen again, one of these fights going to break out, somebody's going to pull out a weapon. And then somebody's, we're going to lose a life or two or many. Yep. And we just can't let that happen. I mean, I'm sorry that they didn't get to play the games. Again, I would have erred on, hey, we're clearing the stadium, clearing the parking lot. You teams go back in the locker room, we'll come out in an hour and we'll finish this game. But nobody else is going to see it. And then when mamas and daddies get mad because they can't see little Johnny play, maybe we'll start seeing a little bit of self-policing, and we'll start handling this stuff before it gets out of hand.
Great comments indeed. Okay, let's go to the break. We'll come back and catch up on some games that are in action right now and start hearing from some of the guys who've been covering games tonight, including David, who took in a game in the Low Country tonight. He watched Ashley Ridge beat Cane Bay 33-12. We'll get details on that from him. Also, Kevin Selman, the voice of T.L. Hanna, and the Yellow Jackets got the better of the Red Raiders of Greenville tonight. He'll give us that story when we come back from the break. It's the high school football scoreboard across the state here on the Sports Talk Media Network.
Investing can be like a puzzle. There's so many pieces to consider, and it can be hard to know where to start. But with the right guidance, you can put the pieces together to create a winning strategy. That's where Founders Investment Services come in. Our team of financial advisors can help you navigate the complexities of investing and create a personalized plan that fits your goals and risk tolerance. We'll work with you to identify the pieces of your puzzle and how they fit into your financial future. Call 866-739-7064 or visit foundersfcuinvestments.com to learn more about how we can help you take the first step towards reaching your financial goals. Securities offered through LPL Financial.
Hello, friends. This is David Shelton, co-host of the Friday Night Scoreboard Show with Phil Kornbluth. As many of you know my story, I've lost 2 sons to drug overdoses in the past 10 years. I want to tell you about my friends at Wake Up Carolina. Wake Up Carolina is a nonprofit recovery community organization dedicated to providing awareness, promoting education, and creating hope in recovery for our young adults, individuals, and families touched by substance use through collaborative community partnerships, trusted resources, and support services in Berkeley, Charleston, and Dorchester counties. The organization relies on private donors and state funding to make sure all their resources are free and open to the public. Call them today if you know someone who needs assistance. That's wakeupcarolina.org. Phone number 843-972-8154. Don't wait until it's too late.
Dun. All right, back we are here on the High School Football Scoreboard Sports Talk Media Network, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Phil Kornblut, David Shelton, and J.P. Barry. And let's, David, quickly tell us about your game tonight. You were out in the field. You watched Ashley Ridge beat Cane Bay 33-12.
Well, Ashley Ridge, their new head coach is Jeff Tate, who anybody in the upstate knows Jeff Tate. Was at Burns, Spartanburg, won a state championship with Kelly Bryant when he was at Rent, or not Kelly Bryant, the kid that went to South Carolina.
Jay Urich.
Yeah.
Jay Urich. Jay Urich, yeah.
But he's a proven winner, and he retired from Wren. Ashley Ridge, Shane Fiddler, coach, decided to go to Airport. Jeff Tate wanted to be down in the lower part of the state, down near the beaches, and he applied and got the job, and tonight he got his first win, and I'm telling you, Jeff Tate has always been known as kind of an offensive guy. I don't want to use the word guru or genius, but his offenses have been very productive. As we've in the past we've called them interstate scores, and Wren was in a lot of those games. Well, they brought that offense down to Ashley Ridge, and the sophomore quarterback Trevor Kalick threw 5 touchdown passes. Derek Sally, who somebody you need to get on your recruiting report, 6'4" receiver that's got offers from Old Dominion and Western Kentucky. This kid is a player. He caught 3 touchdown passes, had 11 catches for about 170 yards. And then Ashley Ridge played some defense. Cane Bay has beaten him 5 years in a row and has averaged about 300 yards rushing a game against them. Their defense was up to the task. And, it got close there in the third quarter, early fourth quarter, 19-12. And Ashley Ridge went right back out and scored 2 more touchdowns. I don't know how many games they're going to win, but I can tell you this offense is going to be a problem for some people because they got a lot of receivers. And then when they spread you out, they can run the trap and things like that and get yardage on the ground. But they won tonight, and they were clearly the most impressive team on the field, without a doubt.
All right, very good. I'll give you some other finals here. River Bluff over Swansea, 56-7. And it was in the Midlands, Gilbert over Batesburg-Leesville, 35-7. We've got Lakewood over Fox Creek, 20-3. That's a final score. And Appling County, Georgia beat Aiken, 54-13. We have Kevin Selman
here.
Yes.
I got a score that somebody texted me. Northwood Academy defeated Colleton Prep, 49-39.
Northwood Academy defeated Colleton Prep, 49-39. All right, correct. Thank you. Yeah, you heard me chastise Skiza, didn't you?
Yes. Hey, I've been on that boat before.
I mean, come on. How hard is it to post your schedule, for crying out loud?
I have offered my services to them to take care of their website in the past, and it's not. They got to spend their money on something else, I guess.
I guess. You said 49-39?
Yes, that's the score that I got.
Northwood over Colleton Prep. Let's go to the voice of the T.L. Hanna Yellow Jackets, Kevin Selman. He had Hanna and Greenville tonight. Hanna must have played some defense because, or maybe you just ate the football and dominated time of possession as you win at 28-17 over Greenville. Welcome in.
Hey, Phil. Thanks for having me. Yeah, a big night at Jim Frazier Field here in Anderson as I don't know, one of the premier matchups in the state tonight, maybe the biggest matchup in the state, is the Yellow Jackets took down number 1 ranked Greenville 28-17 in a game that the Yellow Jackets led from start to finish. They jumped out quick, was leading 21-3 at early in the second quarter after a 100 or 99-yard touchdown kickoff return by Hatton for the Yellow Jackets. I texted you during the game tonight. The most impressive stat of the night, the Yellow Jackets were 3 of 7 passing for 36 yards. And get this, we had a passing touchdown.
Stop the presses.
Yeah, stop the presses. Now, I'll go on to say the Yellow Jackets rushed the ball 43 times for 301 yards and 2 touchdowns. And we're really able to keep the Greenville offense off the field and under control. I tell you that Mazio Bennett kid that the Gamecocks are getting, man, what an athlete, what a heck of a player he is. He's so talented, and but the Jacks are able to keep him under contained somewhat tonight. But just a big overall win for the Yellow Jackets tonight.
Boy, I tell you what, how much did you guys end up running for? Did you say that?
301 yards.
So not 400 we got last week, but 301. And again, we passed for 36 yards, which is unlike the Yellow Jacket offense. But again, it was a tough fought game. And I tell you, coming off that big win last week against Dorman, Greenville, I had my concerns about tonight as anybody would going into the game, but the way the game's off with the bang, taking the open down and going up 7 quick, and really never looked back. Greenville fought back to get it within 21-17 in the fourth quarter, and then the Jaguars were fine, just able to put it away with a late score. And how about this? Up 28-17 with 2 minutes to go. We were kicking off to Greenville with 2 minutes to go. We onside kick and recovered the onside kick, and Greenville never got the ball back. Sounds like a complete performance. Coaching staff will have to be very happy about that, and we thank you for the report tonight. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, Phil.
Kevin Selman, story on the win by his guys at TL Hanna. They continue to play great football. By the way, Hartsville was leading Darlington 55-26 in the fourth quarter when that game was stopped because of issues in the stands. We'll be back with more scores here on the High School Scoreboard, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union.
Attention taxpayers, ready for some bad news? With $80 billion in new funding from Congress, the IRS has launched their most aggressive hiring campaign ever to ramp up enforcement. If you're ignoring your taxes, don't delay another minute, because your paycheck, your bank account, even your home or business could already be at risk. Now, here's the good news. Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax relief firm, can get to work immediately, helping to protect you from the IRS. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, their tax attorneys and licensed professionals are experts at resolving tax problems. Let them help determine if you qualify for the Fresh Start Initiative or other powerful IRS tax assistance programs. Take control. Call Optima Tax Relief now for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
In Jackson Hole, Wyoming, it was a closely watched speech that also highlighted the uncertain nature of the economic outlook. This is SRN News.
Maybe you've heard about MediShare and you know what it is. It's the affordable alternative to health insurance. But you've wondered, can I really save a significant amount of money on my monthly health care bills? And the answer is an emphatic yes, you can. You can save a lot of money, whether it's just for you or for an entire family. MediShare has an option for you. In fact, the typical family saves $500 a month switching to MediShare. And it really is the gold standard when it comes to healthcare sharing. You get free telehealth services. You get a huge network of doctors. You get great customer support. And you get the sense of security that comes from being a part of 400,000 people who share not just each other's medical bills, but purpose too. MediShare is a community of Christians who pull together and pray for each other, which is very refreshing right now.
Hey, everybody. I'm David Jolly of the Higgins and Halloran Insurance Group. When you think about insurance, I ask that you think of me. I'm homegrown in the Midlands. I live in Lexington. I'm a lifelong learner, teacher, coach, and friend. There are many insurance agencies out there, and there's even more agents. How am I different? I served 20 plus years as a coach and teacher. I'll help you understand it. I've done this for a long time. I've been there for folks during horrible times in their lives. It's not easy, but it's when I can help the most. I'll explain the right insurance coverage, not try to sell it to you. Best of all, I'm an independent insurance agent. I want to be your trusted insurance advisor. I have no quotas to fill. I work for you, and I'll find you the best and most affordable coverage to fully protect you, your family, and your business. I'm always available to my clients, who I get to know as friends. I can help with personal insurance, like your homes, vehicles, or boats, your commercial, for business owners. And it doesn't matter how big or small your company is, I want to help. So when you think about insurance, think of me, David Jolly of the Higgins and Halloran Insurance Group. Online at higginsandhalloran.com or give me a call at 803-850-0054.
It's that time of year again, the time where hunters absolutely celebrate. If you're an outdoorsman, oh, this is your month. There's no better place to start your hunting season than over at Shooter's Choice on Sunset Boulevard in West Columbia. The staff is made up of hunters. Yes, they actually love to get out themselves and hunt, just like you do. So let these experts help you get your hunting package all put together. We all know that ammo really matters, and it's still going to be hard to find at times, so please don't waste it. Let Shooters get you a new scope to help you with accuracy and not wasting that precious ammo. Shooter's Choice has a super scope sale going on this month. Maybe it's time to get that new rifle for the hunt. Shooter's Choice has a monster, huge selection. So what are you waiting for? The hunt is on. Online, it's shooterschoicesc.com or make a visit. Come on in. Go see them. Sunset Boulevard, West Columbia. Make it your first choice. Your best choice. Make it Shooter's Choice.
Thinning hair is normal, but it doesn't have to be your fate.
Once I started taking Nutrafol, I could visibly see my hair get thicker.
Nutrafol, the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand.
Nutrafol has taken me back to the hair I was meant to have.
Join the 1 million people growing at Nutrafol.com. That's Nutrafol.com. These statements and products have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition. Paid for by Nutraceutical Wellness, Inc. Now your ideas don't have to wait. Now they have everything they need to come to life. Dell Technologies and Intel are creating technology that loves ideas, loves expanding your business, evolving your passions. We push what technology can do, so great ideas can happen right now. Find out how to bring your ideas to life at Dell.com. Welcome to Now.
We're back. It's the high school football scoreboard brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. All across the state of South Carolina is the scoreboard, as well as Founders. Phil Kornbluth and David Shelton. J.P. Barry, all with you tonight here on the scoreboard. So let's catch you up on scores, final scores, and scores of games that are still going on. We had a bunch of games pushed back to 8 o'clock kickoff time, so they're just now starting to wrap up. Might even be a little bit longer, maybe another 15, 20 minutes for some of those. So we're going to have some final scores coming in a little bit later on. In the upstate, Crescent beat Dixie 58-7. Franklin County of Georgia over Pickens 28-11. Lincoln County, Georgia 49, McCormick 6. Boiling Springs 55, Malden nothing. Sandy Creek, Georgia 41, Greenwood 7. David, let me stop right here and say, our state's not faring real well with out-of-state competition thus far this season.
No, especially against Georgia. Georgia, I don't think we, in any of the matchups, have we won a game. And next week, Fort Dorchester goes down to Grayson. So, that might be a tough one, too.
Seneca beat Palmetto 40-0. It was T.L. Hanna over Greenville High, 28-17. Finals in the Midlands, got quite a few. AC Flora beat Dreer, 60-13. Appling County, Georgia over Aiken, 54-13. Brooklyn Casey, 49. Airport, nothing. Hampton County, 41. Allendale Fairfax, 8. Camden, 59. Lugoff Elgin, 6. Chapin, 63. Mid Carolina, nothing. Denmark Oler 22, Bamberg Earhart 15. David, that's an eyebrow raiser right there.
Indeed, it is. I mean, Denmark Oler is definitely a program that's been on the come a little bit in Class A, but Bamberg is a real state title contender. Now, maybe this will do them good, but man, for them to only score 15 points for that offense, that's a pretty good job by Denmark Oler.
Lakewood 20, Fox Creek 3, Gaffney over Union County. 63-7. What idiot put Gaffney in the Midlands scoreboard? That would be me. We'll fix that before the next go-around. Gilbert over Batesburg-Leesville, 35-7. Hunter Connor Tyler, 44. Eau Claire, nothing. Lower Richland, 24. Westwood, 21. Columbia, 48. Pillion, 28. Sumter, 42. Ridgeview, 19. River Bluff, 56. Swansea, 7. PD Grand Strand, Ainer 30, Kingstree 14, Somerville 33, Carolina Forest 26, Myrtle Beach 51, Conway 14. Heck of a bounce back win for Myrtle Beach, David, after they were pushed around and beat down last weekend.
Yeah, a little different competition.
Yeah.
Little different competition. I think Conway is kind of rebuilding. Camden is a state championship type level team, but good for Myrtle Beach to get on track. Obviously, last week they turned it over a bunch. This week they probably didn't. So usually when you don't turn it over, give yourself a chance to win.
Absolutely. If you're just joining us, Hartsville was leading Darlington 55-26 in the fourth quarter when they canceled the game because of issues in the stands. Neither David nor I know if that game will stand as a win or just a cancellation. I guess we'll find out at some point. And over in Georgetown, Andrews was leading 31-27 at the half. That game was canceled because of a fight or multiple fights and gunshots being fired. Reports, witnesses reporting gunshots being fired. Scary situations at those two locales. Hannah Pamplico beat North Central 46-18. Cross 46, Hemingway 8. Lakeview 38, Mullins 14. Dillon 38, Lamar 6. Oh boy, looky here, little interstate action, David. You like interstate scores? How about Interstate 55 running through Latta tonight? Latta 55, East Clarendon 18.
You get so excited when Latta wins the game. I swear to God.
2-0, baby. We're 2-0.
I know. I told you they were pretty good this year.
Yeah. Well, I saw them in the Jamboree at Dillon, and they look pretty good. So we shall see. South Florence beat Oceanside 28-6. Thought this one might be a little closer than it turned out, or is South Florence just that good?
No, I thought that would be a little closer, but South Florence on defense is really good, and Oceanside has lost a lot of guys on offense. Their quarterback's back, but they lost a lot of other guys, and so maybe I thought it would be a little closer, but I think South Florence is probably the better team overall.
Manning 50-0 over Scotts Branch. Silver Bluff 46-0 over Socastee. When Berge calls in, I imagine his report will last about 20 seconds on that Socastee story, losing 46-0. Philip Simmons over St. James 41-30. Waccamaw edges Carvers Bay 21-19. West Florence shuts out Lake City 28-0, and Marion over Wilson 32-24. In the Low Country, Ashley Ridge over Cane Bay, 33-12. Fort Dorchester doubles up Beaufort, 34-17. Berkeley edges Hanahan, 34-33. Hilton Head, 29. Claxton, Georgia, 12. James Island, 51. Stall, nothing. Lucy Beckham, 43. Wando, nothing. West Ashley, 31. May River, 7. Skeeza Finals, Williamsburg Academy 52, Palmetto Christian 6, Cardinal Newman 55, PD 7, Providence Athletic Club 56, Jefferson Davis nothing, Lawrence Manning 34, Pinewood Prep 19, Patrick Henry 33, St. John's Christian 6, Bethesda 44, John Paul II Catholic nothing. Northwood Academy 49, Colleton Prep 39, Beaufort Academy 28, Hilton Head Prep nothing. Double overtime. Northside Christian 18, Greenwood Christian 17, Ben Lippen 21, Heathwood Hall 14. And before we get back to reports, let me just check on a few games that are still being played and update some of these scores. C.A. Johnson is leading Trinity Collegiate 26-23, fourth quarter. Saluda over Rich Spring Monetta 48-18, fourth quarter. How about this one? Gray Collegiate and Crestwood knotted up at 48 in the fourth quarter. Oh, huh?
I knew that was going to be a barn burner.
Fairfield Central,
that Crestwood quarterback, Javion Martin, I think's his name.
Mm-hmm.
He is the real deal, man. He is the real deal. Some people are missing out on that cat.
Fairfield Central leading Andrew Jackson 33-16. That was in the fourth quarter. Irmo over Lancaster 56-12 in the fourth. Also, it's, let's see here. I think we gave you this one. I'll double check it. Blythewood 35, Richland Northeast 18. And we have, those are all finals. Did that. I think we're basically up to date on our scores at this point. Jefferson of Georgia with Sammy Brown, the Clemson commitment, linebacker, running back, winning at Wren in the fourth quarter, 30-14. Seneca over Palmetto, 40-0. Jenkins of Georgia in the fourth, leading Bluffton, 41-30. And it's we did that one, gave you that one. Whitmire with a win over Spartanburg Christian. Whitmire 32, Spartanburg Christian 19. Lincoln County, Georgia beat McCormick 49-6. Lee Central over Great Falls 28-6. And in the fourth quarter, Edisto leading Williston Elko 30-19. Central of Pageland over Parkwood of North Carolina 35-3. 96 in the fourth quarter leads Ware Shoals 47-18. And I think we gave you these scores already. Ainer over King Street 30-14. Oh, Marlboro County leading Cheraw fourth quarter 30-17. And I think we're good for now. Third quarter, Broome 35, Chesney 7. Ooh, here's one, David. Fourth quarter, Abbeville, Powdersville, they are tied at 27.
Yeah, I thought that would be a heck of a football game. It was last year. I think it was in the 50s last year. Both teams scored in the 50s last year. So a little better defense tonight. But, again, like I said on Sports Talk tonight, this is a great test for Abbeville, and they need them because they don't get a lot of them in their region. Okay,
and we've got Spartanburg. David, this has just come in. Spartanburg has beaten Dutch Fork at Dutch Fork 16-6.
Yeah, Dutch Fork, I think, lost their quarterback last week, and I think that's affected them offensively. But again, let's not count Dutch Fork out. They're 0-2, but they could easily be 13-2 in December. But a good win for Spartanburg, a good road win for Mark Hodge.
Absolutely. Have to ring him up on the show. When's the last time Dutch Fork started 0-2?
It's been a while.
Yeah,
probably
I would say so.
Tom Knott.
I would think so. Okay, let's go to Neil Kirkpatrick from the High School Sports Report. Neil was at that Denmark-Olar and Bamberg-Earhart game. And, Neil, when we got that score, David immediately said, whoa, big upset there. What'd you think about what you saw and how they pull it off?
Well, it was a big upset, but, Bamberg came in number one. They got manhandled tonight. This game should have been a lot more. Denmark dominated them from the start to finish. Bamberg only scored 7 points on offense all night. The other 8 points they had was a safety and then a pick six. They did make a big stop on Denmark in the first half, but by and large, to give you an idea, David was talking about how good Bamberg is. Bamberg did not cross 100 yards total offense until about 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter.
So
Denmark was.
Yeah, their defense was the thing tonight. Was that expected coming in that their defense would be that good from what you knew?
Well, when I talked to Coach Littlejohn earlier in the year, he told me that they were going to have to hang their hat on defense because they lost most of their offense from last year. But he's got some young kids that came big. Terrence Hinton, he had 2 touchdowns, a 50-yarder, and then the game-winning 69-yard touchdown from Travion Hinton. So all these guys are young, but that defense for Denmark just dominated the front five of Bamberg all night, and it was kind of shocking because, as David said, Bamberg's loaded, and but I'll tell you what, David and Phil, maybe, just maybe, this is a pregame to a rematch in the state championship.
Wouldn't be surprised. Any particular any particular individual stand out for you in your eyes with Denmark?
Yeah, the Terrence Hill, number 0. He's a junior. He's only 5'7", 170. But all night long, he broke tackle after tackle running the football. Like I said, he had 2 touchdowns over 50 yards. He made plays on defense. And then their big-time recruit, number 6, Takeem Ross. He's a big-time player. I'm sure David knows him. He's 6'3", about 235. And he made a play when Vandenberg was trying to get in to score to tie the game. He dropped Nick Folks back for about a 5-yard loss on a 3rd and 5, and then forced a bad pass on 4th down. He's definitely the real deal. And both of these guys, all of them are juniors at Denmark. So very impressed with how well they played tonight. But, as we know, I'm sure Coach Crosby will get his team rebounded and put in the right direction as well.
Oh, yeah. He's a good coach. He'll get them right. Hey, Neil, we thank you, my man. Appreciate it, and we will talk to you again next week.
That's great. Yeah, you can tell I'm excited, man. It was a great game, and Battle of Vandenberg. And I don't know when the last time Denmark beat Vandenberg, but I promise you, there's parties going on all night. I had to leave because they invited me to too many of them.
That's great. That's great. That's what rivalries are all about. That's what upsets are all about. And thank you very much. We appreciate you. Talk to you next week. Neil Kirkpatrick from the High School Sports Report joining us tonight with that story on the Denmark-Olar win. After the break, Chris Daring is going to join us covering a game in the Midlands tonight for SC Prep Zone. We'll hear from him. As we go to the break, I'll tell you that South Point beat Rock Hill 35-13. Lakeview over Mullins 38-14. And Boiling Springs shuts out Malden 55-0. Loris has beaten North Myrtle Beach in double overtime 26-20. And it was, looking for something fresh, it was Dillon over Lamar 38-6. Be right back.
Looking for a way to fight back against inflation? One viable way to help your money stay relevant during inflation is through investing. To a new investor, investing can feel like a puzzle. With so many pieces to consider, it can be hard to know where to start. But with the right guidance along the way, you can put the pieces together to create a winning strategy. That's where Founders Investment Services come in. Our team of financial advisors can help you navigate the complexities of investing and create a personalized plan that fits your goals and risk tolerance. We'll work with you to identify the pieces of your puzzle and how they fit into your financial future. When you're ready to find the pieces to your financial plan, call 866-739-7064 to speak with one of our specialists, or visit foundersfcuinvestments.com to learn about how we can help you identify the key pieces to your financial plans. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA, SIPC, and not NCUA insured. Not guaranteed by credit union and may lose value.
If you're looking to stay hydrated this summer, turn toward a southern favorite, sweet South Carolina watermelons. One slice is equivalent to a glass of water and is just as effective as sports drinks for hydration. If you don't believe us, you can ask the Palmetto State's top football teams. The SC Watermelon Association will be serving up slices after summer practice to keep our teams fueled and hydrated. Visit scwatermelon.org for all the details and look for ripe South Carolina watermelons in your hometown.
Welcome back, everybody. It is the High School Football Scoreboard across the state of South Carolina. Let's go to Chris Daring, who was at the Sumter and Ridgeview game tonight. Once again, the Sumter Gamecocks playing really good football, Chris. They do this every year. They play a lot of really good regular season football and early postseason football, and sometimes they get deep in the playoffs. Still haven't gotten to that ring in a little while, but maybe this will be the year. They handled Ridgeview tonight pretty good, 42-19. Chris, are you there, sir? Is this Chris or Jamie? Or just David?
It's just me.
Okay. JP, what we got going on, man? Let's see if we can get Chris on the line here real quick and get his report on that Sumter Ridgeview game, please. Let me know when we've got him ready to go. In the meantime, I'll give you some other scores that are coming in as we speak. Like I mentioned, some late starts tonight because of the weather, so some games are finishing a little bit later than normal. Chester beats Fort Mill 38-24. That one's gone final. Midland Valley over Strom-Thurmond 21-16. That final score. And River Bluff over Swansea 56-7. All right, are we ready to go to Chris? Chris, are you with us? No. Okay. All right. David, South Point beats Rock Hill 35-13. So, Rock Hill had a tough year last year. Obviously, South Point's very, very good. Is South Point as good as they have been in recent years? That's another good team for them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're the typical South Point. They're going to play really good defense. They got explosive athletes on the perimeter at the skill positions, and that's the way they're going to be every year. Rock Hill is improved. They will have more success than they had last year, but they're not at the level of the South Point. That's a tough call.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Do we have Chris with us now, JP? All right, let's go to Chris Deering, Sumter Ridgeview. Chris, are you there, sir? We had this issue last week, too. Yeah, it's becoming a problem. It's becoming a real problem. Is he in the system or not? Tell me what you got.
Yeah, he's in the system, and I can hear him fine on the phone. It's just when I put him on air, there's nothing coming out. And then I tried calling him to see if maybe it was a him calling us issue, and I have no idea.
Okay. This is pretty freaky.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be happening. Figure it out.
I think Phonebox just hates Chris. I'll try and figure this out there.
Yeah, try and figure it out. Okay, let's see what else.
Man, I got to get me some Chris Deering tonight, man. Come on.
I mean, this is 2 weeks in a row. He's not going to like us anymore if we don't get him on the air. All right, let me give you some other scores then. Northside Christian has beaten Greenwood Christian 18-17. Trinity Collegiate in the fourth quarter leading C.A. Johnson 30-26. Saluda beats Ridge Spring Monetta 55-18. Last we heard, Crestwood and Gray Collegiate were 48-48 in the fourth quarter, and do not have an update on that one at this point. Irmo has beaten Lancaster 56-18, and River Bluff over Swansea 56-7. Chapin shuts out Mid Carolina 63-0. Blythewood, big winner over Richland Northeast 35-18. Slow start for R&E, David, with their quarterback. They had a improved year last year. They've got the young quarterback who's pretty highly regarded. Kind of thought that, I don't know. Is it the competition? Are they playing over their heads a little bit competition-wise?
Well, I mean, they played two pretty good teams in the first 2 weeks. I mean, I think they'll be okay when they get to their region. I mean, they're not a juggernaut. I mean, you got to have more than a quarterback, but they do have some good players. They'll be okay. I mean, Coach Wilson will get them right.
Yeah, he's an excellent coach. Got a good young player who happens to be his son at quarterback. So I'm with you. I think they'll get it going at some point. Broome over Chesney, 49-20. That's the final score. All right, and let's see what else we've got here that might be new to us. Let's see. Lawrence Manning over Pinewood Prep, 34-19. Cardinal Newman, 55-7 over PD. Let's take a look at a couple of other games, David, and let you comment. Let's go to Sumter and Ridgeview, and hopefully we'll get the story from Chris here momentarily once we get the phone situation figured out. But here again, the Sumter Gamecocks beat up on a pretty good opponent, and they look strong here early in the season.
Yeah, that's a good win. I mean, Ridgeview is supposed to be a pretty good team moving forward, and Sumter has off to a 2-0 start, like you said. We're used to kind of seeing them win a lot in the regular season, and in the postseason they fail to score points. But if their offense can score, their defense is always going to be great.
Dillon beat Lamar 38-6. Season opener for Dillon. They were off last week. Of course, Lamar always really good at their level, not at Dillon's level. And here we are, Dillon, excellent quarterback, weapons, strong defense, indicator of how good they're going to be moving forward this year.
Yeah, they'll have. They're better than Lamar, and they should win that game as they did. They'll have some tough competition coming along the way, but they are, I think they're ranked number 1 in South Carolina in 3A for a reason, because they're they got some players.
Yeah, big offensive tackle, of course, Josiah Thompson, who looks really good. He's one of those well put together offensive tackles. He's kind of got that body that's more north-south than it is east-west, if you know what I mean. Looks really good out there on that offensive line. Bob Corlew from our affiliate up in Woodruff, Spartanburg, telling us that Dorman is up 34-13. They still have 5 minutes to play in the fourth quarter of that one. I guess they had a late start. So Dorman leading North Augusta 34-13. I don't guess that's gone final yet. 5 minutes to play in the fourth quarter of that one. So it looks like Dorman's going to get on the board. Okay, now it's come in final 34-13. Bob just texted us with an update. So Dorman wins that one, David, 34-13 to get on the board.
Yeah, good win for them. North Augusta, I think North Augusta lost last week too, so they're 0-2. But Dorman needed to get a win, get some confidence. They got a lot of tough games coming up in that region, so every win is a good win.
No doubt about it. You want to pile up as many wins as you can early to, of course, we say that, but again, the wins that really matter are those region wins that you go after starting in October for the most part.
But wins now are confidence builders.
Correct. I would not ever discount a victory, whether it's in region or outside the region. Okay, hang on, David. We'll get back to you. More scores and more reports coming up after the top of the hour break.
Local in the morning, afternoon, and evening. Columbia's local talk radio experience. 107 The Point. Make thepointradio.com. The Point. The Point.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rhonda Rongstrip. House Republicans launch a probe into Fulton County DA Fonnie Wellness.
The GOP-led House Judiciary Committee opened an investigation into DA Willis Thursday over whether her prosecution of Trump is, quote, politically motivated. In a letter to the DA announcing the probe, House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan, the Republican from Ohio, demanded the Democrat prosecutor provide answers over her indictment of former President Trump and his associates. The letter reads, "Your indictment and prosecution implicate substantial federal interests, and the circumstances surrounding your actions raise serious concerns about whether they are politically motivated." Edwin Mora, Washington.
At least one tornado touched down in Michigan the other night as part of severe storms that were powered by winds of up to 75 miles an hour that downed trees, tore roofs off buildings, and killed 5 people, leaving hundreds of thousands of customers without power. National Weather Service meteorologist Brian Cromwell says some of the storms were more damaging than the EF1 tornado turned out to be.
It's definitely an intense storm, but it could have been a lot worse. These tornadoes are relatively weak.
Cromwell says the area affected were parts of Ingham and Livingston counties. Within hours of Maui County releasing nearly 400 names of people unaccounted for following the deadliest wildfire in more than a century, some cases already being resolved. Relatives or the people themselves reporting that they're safe. Police Chief John Pelletier understands that and says it'll be difficult for many, but they have to do it.
This is not an easy thing to do, but we want to make sure that we are doing everything we can possibly to make this investigation the most complete, thorough to date.
News and analysis at townhall.com.
Attention, your withdrawal has been denied by the U.S. government.
Picture a world where your every purchase is monitored, tracked, and controlled
by those in power to suppress the freedoms of those they see fit. Hi, my name is Jason Hansen. I'm a former CIA officer and New York Times bestselling author. And right now, I've become very focused on the impending rollout of the central bank digital currency. This is not a work of fiction. It's a terrifying reality looming on the horizon. But there is a bit of good news. I've partnered with Advantage Gold to offer you a solution. They are specialists in converting your traditional assets, like those inside an IRA or 401k, into tangible assets such as physical gold and silver. Don't allow your money to be controlled. Claim your free gold protection kit from Advantage Gold. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000.
Advantage Gold is not an investment advisor or a tax advisor.
Call 800-900-8000.
Australian and Filipino forces, backed by U.S. Marines, have practiced retaking an island seized by hostile forces in a large military drill on the northwestern Philippine coast facing the South China Sea. Philippine President Marcos says the drills are taking place to better prepare for what he calls any eventuality.
I think it is an important aspect of how we prepare for any eventuality. And considering that there have been so many events that attest to the volatility of the region, this kind of exercise, this kind of close strategic cooperation between countries around the region is extremely important.
The exercise was held on a Philippine Navy base with 1,200 Australians, 560 Filipinos, and 120 Marines. More at townhall.com.
Have you fallen behind on your taxes and might be facing IRS penalties? Have wage garnishments, levies, or liens? Have unfiled tax returns? You want someone local and qualified. Don't fall for those national spots. Meet with me, Teresa, at Capital City Professional Services, and let me help you through your tax maze. I can help with all your tax resolution issues. There are options to get you back on track. Call Capital City Professional Services, 400-8683. That's 400-8683.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point. Ooh, you shouldn't have pressed that button. Oh. Now you get this.
This is the Founders Federal High School Football Scoreboard on the Sports Talk Media Network. Coming up, scores and reports from across the state and analysis from David Shelton. The Scoreboard is brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Relax, you're with Founders. Now your host for the High School Scoreboard, Phil Kornblut.
Okay, we're back with you. Hour number 2 of the high school football scoreboard on the Sports Talk Media Network. Phil Kornblut, David Shelton, and J.P. Barry, and a host of others, plus a bunch of scores that we'll be getting to. But ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, our one and only goal at this moment of the show is to get Chris Deering on the air because for some reason we've had gremlins in our system when he has called in last week and this week. So we're going to try it again now, fingers crossed, doing a dance, standing on our head, and doing anything else we can to make it work because Chris covered the Sumter Ridgeview game and Sumter won that game. So let's see. Chris, are you with us?
Do you have me this time, Phil?
Yes. It's amazing. Now let's turn his volume up a little bit, JP.
Right now.
Turn his volume up just a little bit. Good to have you with us. How are you?
I am very good, sir. How are you doing?
Terrific. I apologize for whatever issues we've been having, but you know what? It's all about the future. It's not about the past.
We don't look back, Phil. We do not look back. We always look forward.
As someone told me yesterday at the Citadel, rhinoceroses do not back up, and we are the rhinoceros of high school football scoreboards.
And I'm the coverage right off. That's me in the coverage area too.
Well, did you know that? Did you know that a rhinoceros cannot walk backwards, cannot back up?
I had no idea. Is that really true?
That's what they told me at the Citadel, and if the Citadel tells you, you got to believe it. David, did you know that? David Shelton, did you know that a rhinoceros cannot back up, cannot walk backwards? David's stunned by that information.
I just got back on the air.
All right, Chris, tell us about Sumter and Ridgeview while we got you on the phone and we can hear you. Give us the details of that Sumter win over Ridgeview.
Well, historically, Phil, Sumter has been really good defensively, but sort of methodical and not quite as explosive on the offensive side of the ball. But, last week they scored 53 points. This week they put up 42 against a really good Ridgeview team. And they got some playmakers. John Peebles, he first play of the game, they threw a halfback pass. He hit, let me get the guy's name here. Hold on. He hit Deshaun Jackson for a 62-yard touchdown on the first offensive play for Sumter. He ran for 2 more scores. The quarterback, Peyton Merchant, he ran for a score and threw for another one. He's not a guy just to go out there and put up big numbers, but he's got so many weapons around him. He's just getting these guys the ball in space and letting them do their thing. And then Peoples is just a battering ram. He plays wildcat quarterback, plays tailback, does a little bit of everything for these guys. Got another running back, Cameron Fortune. He scored a touchdown tonight. It was 35-13 at the half. Sumter was up 21-0 at the end of the first quarter. Just a really dominating performance by the Gamecocks. I'm pretty certain they had over 400 yards of total offense, and they slowed down a Ridgeview offense that it's going to be really good. They got good receivers, good quarterback, but they could never get on track tonight. And so just all around good win for Sumter.
Sounds like it. Do they look as good to you seeing them in person? And you saw them last year too, I believe. They look as good to you as they did last year, most of the way?
Well, typically they have 1 or 2 Division I guys on this team. And I don't think they have that right now. I think they have a kid, a linebacker that's got an offer from Cincinnati. But outside of that, they don't really have, the Power 5 type kids. They're sort of young, Coach Barnes said. So just, really a lot of just good-looking athletes that are juniors and sophomores at this point is really what they have. And these guys are going to be people we know, get to know a lot better over the next coming weeks. And I think this team has a chance to make a long run in the playoffs this year.
Okay, Chris, so happy. We got you on the air. You guys at SC Prep Zone continue to do great work across the states, and we will talk to you next week. Thanks very much.
I appreciate it, sir. Y'all have a good weekend.
Thank you. All right, Chris Deering with the story there, Sumter's win. Again, David, Sumter looking very good early. You got to put them right at the very top in 5A, I'd say right now, the way things are kind of off and running. Maybe Spartanburg will jump back up after that win at Dutch Fork. I don't know. How do you see it early on after a couple of weeks?
Well, what I'm seeing is that it's very balanced. Somerville won tonight, but they had to fight to beat Carolina Forest. T.O. Hannah's undefeated. Sumter's undefeated. Dutch Fork hadn't got a win. So Dorman got a win tonight. Spartanburg got a win tonight. So, I don't think, and I said this before, I don't think it's just a Dutch Fork's going to win it again. I think there are more contenders now. Dutch Fork might win it again. In December. They might be the best team standing, but I really feel like, Fort Dorchester was struggling on the road tonight, but they came back and put together a great second half. So, there's some teams in 5A that we're going to have to see how it develops over the next 2 months, because to me, it always was, Dutch Fork's number 1 and who cares who's number 2 because Dutch Fork's number 1. But that's not the case. I think there are several teams right now. Again, we played 2 weeks, but I just feel like there are more what I would call serious contenders in 5A than I can recall in recent years.
And that's a good thing.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I love it. I love the. I don't take any joy in the fact that Dutch Fork's 0-2.
No,
but
no.
I think you look around the state and teams are going, hey, maybe we got a shot, so they play a little harder. And but I tell you, if somebody made me bet, $100 Dutch Fork of the field, I'd still take Dutch Fork because it is August 25th. But November 25th might be a different story. But I'm when Dutch Fork gets healthy, they're gonna be really good.
Okay, let's go back to folks out in the fields tonight. Appreciate everybody checking in. Jamie Byrne at the Lucy Beckham game tonight. Lucy Beckham and Wando game tonight down in the Low Country, 43-0. Lucy Beckham with the win. And Jamie, how are you? Welcome in. Give us the story on this one, the win by Lucy Beckham.
Actually, Corn, it's James, and man, what a game it was tonight. What a game. It's just it's one of those classic rivalry matches. It's really built up and turned out 43-0, like you said, for Lucy Beckham. Just an outstanding night, especially for the senior class over at Lucy Beckham. And the Lucy Beckham had, let's see here, they had Chalmers Ballard under center for most of the night. And Chalmers went 140 passing yards with 2 touchdowns. He handed off to Steven Seegers for 114 rushing yards, another 2 touchdowns. He ended up spreading the ball around. A lot of people were carrying the ball. Charles Bird had some good carries. Robert Myers got in on it. And on the defense side, I mean, you really can't say anything more about Lucy Beckham and the defense this year so far. They've had 2 games. One of them was last week's Lake Marion, and then, of course, tonight they're 96-0 in terms of points. The defense is just holding up like crazy. Drake Bull out there making some great tackles, had a 4th and 1 stand that they held him on and actually pushed him backwards. They spent most of the time having Wando playing out of the backfield. It's just been a lot of good stuff out there. Bryce Rothwell getting in on it, but like I said, the senior class out of Lucy Beckham just having a year so far.
Boy, it sounds like it. And listen, you grow old together. That's how you have good football teams if you got some good players. It sounds like they have good balance on the offensive side, throwing and passing.
That's actually one of the things that was really impressive to see, Corn, is they didn't have one guy. They had 2, 3, 4 guys that they were able to hand the ball off to. Obviously on these lopsided games like this, you see some other players, some younger players coming in. They got to see Finn Gunner, who's a sophomore backup quarterback. He's come in both weeks now, been able to take some snaps, been able to make a few mistakes, learn a few things, have some success. He rounded out the game tonight. But it's just been really good because they've been able to see the passing game. They've been able to see the running game. The defense tonight, like I said, the defense held Wando to less than 100 yards total offense. It's just really been good to see them making all sides. Jamel Smith making all sides work. It's been fantastic.
Very good, James. Thank you so much for the report. Really appreciate it. We'll catch you next week.
Sounds good. Thanks, Horn.
Thank you. Big win for Lucy Beckham. David, just a short amount of time, they've put together a pretty strong football program over there.
Yeah, I mean, it's only their second year of varsity play. They did get to play 3 games 2 years ago, but last year was their official first year of varsity play. They're only 4 years old, and, now granted, they're better than Wando, and I thought they would win the game tonight, and they're way better than Lake Marion, so I had them going 2-0. Mm-hmm. The big test will come in the region, and it'll come down to them and James Island in that region, and that will be a really good game to watch because James Island's got some weapons on offense, and you heard Lucy Beckham hadn't given up a point yet.
Yeah. I don't know if we've mentioned this or not, but Abbeville did end up winning that game against Powdersville in overtime, 35-34. So the Panthers, they seem to always find a way. Great win for them. And we've got some other finals now coming in. It's Let's see. We told you that one. Marion beat Wilson 32-24. Hammond over Florence Christian School 47-0. Charlotte Christian beat Catawba Ridge 34-13. Northwestern 56. Clover 6. Wilson Hall 17. Hilton Head Christian 10. Hilton Head 29. Clayton make that Claxton of Georgia 12. 29-12 that final. Ainer 30. Kingstree 14. And Somerville over Carolina Forest. If you didn't hear that earlier, 33-26 final score there. All right, let's hit up another report before we go to the break. Ron Scarborough. Our old man, Ron Scarborough, up in the upstate, up in Greenville. Join us. Ron, what you got? Hey, Ron, are you with us? Hello, Mr. Scarborough. Scarborough Fair. That was a song for those who might not be familiar with it. Do we have Ron? Ron going once, twice. Okay. Ron, are you there, buddy? All right, I'll tell you what. Let's go to the break, and then we'll come back and see if Ron's there. If not, we'll get to Lane Harris after the break. I'm sure he's got some. He feels better tonight than he did last week watching Myrtle Beach. Tonight, Myrtle Beach took care of its business after getting handled last week. So we'll find out who's there and get them on the air when we come back from the break. Also, more from David Shelton, and we've got more final scores rolling in. We'll get those on to you here in just a little bit. Stay with us right here on the High School Football Scoreboard, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union.
Investing can be like a puzzle. There's so many pieces to consider, and it can be hard to know where to start. But with the right guidance, you can put the pieces together to create a winning strategy. That's where Founders Investment Services come in. Our team of financial advisors can help you navigate the complexities of investing and create a personalized plan that fits your goals and risk tolerance. We'll work with you to identify the pieces of your puzzle and how they fit into your financial future. Call 866-739-7064 or visit foundersfcuinvestments.com to learn more about how we can help you take the first step towards reaching your financial goals. Securities offered through LPL Financial.
Football season is upon us, and that means Columbia is welcoming fans from around the corner and across the country. No matter where you're from, Gamecocks love coming together for game day energy that can only be found in South Carolina's capital city. Book hotel rooms, find pre- and post-game activities, and plan your tailgate spread with local favorites from pimento cheese to barbecue at experiencecolumbiasc.com. We'll see you soon, and go Gamecocks!
Timeout. We're a team that plays together. Listen, the winning will take care of itself. We just have to get everyone involved.
In interscholastic sports, we celebrate what makes every one of us unique. And in the pursuit of a common goal, everyone in the huddle, in the bleachers, and in the community comes together. This message presented by the SCHSL and the South Carolina Athletic Administrators Association.
Welcome back, everybody, to the High School Football Scoreboard. Woodruff has beaten Fountain Inn 44-6. Final score there. And a couple of other finals from last night. Blackville Hilda beat Barnwell 36-34. David, that doesn't happen all the time, does it? Very often, Blackville Hilda beating Barnwell, this time 36-34.
David literally just dropped as soon as you said his name.
Okay, we lost David. So we'll get him back on the line. Hey, you know what? Dealing with cell signals and things like that, they come and they go. So we'll get him back on the line, and he can comment on that game for us. But Blackville Hilda beat Barnwell 36-34. That game was played last night. Also last night, Well Branch beat North Charleston 46-6. So I have no idea if anybody's going to get on the air, but let's try Ron Scarborough again up in Greenville. Ron, are you with us, my friend? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Not there. You want to try Lane Harris with Myrtle Beach and the story on the Myrtle Beach win tonight. Lane, are you there?
Yes, I am, Phil.
Well, thank
so
you
great to talk to you tonight.
for being the man, stepping up and being the man tonight. And I know you're feeling better than you were this time last week.
Oh my goodness! I told Ashley Smith that whoever wins the game can call into Phil's show. So I am so happy to be talking to you tonight.
Well, what's the difference? I mean, you played a great team last week, obviously, and Conway's sort of still rebuilding. That the primary difference in the outcome, or did you guys just play a heck of a lot better?
We played 180 degrees from what we played versus Camden. 3 interceptions in the first quarter, 4 in the game, scoop and score by Camden. The ball did not bounce our way. And as you said, Camden's a very good team. But tonight, we changed our defense. We went from a 4-man front, a 4-3 to a 3-4. And we got some young kids that are starting to play ball, and we got a young secondary that's starting to really be ball hawkers out there. But the story of the game was Malachi Washington. He is our bell cow. 35 carries, 201 yards, and 3 touchdowns in tonight's game. And they just could not stop Malachi Washington. And we basically outscored them 21-0 in the second quarter. It was tied at 14 after the first quarter, and we went to halftime with a 35-14 lead. John Simmons caught 2 touchdown passes in that second quarter. One, a beautiful 60-yard bomb from the arm of Gibson Goodrow, and then a 24-yard touchdown pass with about a minute and a half to go in the first half that put Myrtle Beach up in the back corner of the end zone on a beautiful throw and a beautiful jumping catch by the 6'4" Simmons to put Myrtle Beach up 35-14. Alex Rennie added a third-quarter field goal, and in the fourth quarter, starting sophomore linebacker Antonio Brown came in to relieve Malachi Washington. He had an 8-yard touchdown run. Then we kicked off to Conway, and with a minute to go, we get a strip sack, and Antonio Brown picks up the ball and runs in 20 yards for a fumble return for a touchdown to finish off the 50-burger on Conway. John Simmons had 3 catches for 94 yards and 2 touchdowns. Gibson Goodrow, 3 for 6 and only 1 interception after 4 interceptions last week for 94 yards and 2 touchdowns. But again, Malachi Washington, 35 carries, 201 yards and 3 touchdowns, 5'9", 165 pounds, soaking wet. And he was just tough to bring down. And when he got into the open field, he was a bolt.
Has to be an uplifting win. First of all, it's a big rivalry game, obviously. And then to bounce back and get the W, it has to be uplifting for those guys.
Well, these guys have been playing for the Victory Bell for over 70 years. And it's spent a lot of time in Conway early, even during the Doug Shaw days when Myrtle Beach had some dominant teams. They would only have 1 or 2 losses on their record, and they would always be to Conway. Matter of fact, Wayne Gray, my broadcast partner, was a quarterback for 3 years, sophomore, junior, senior, and he never beat Conway. And they went to and won 2 state championships. But over the last probably 15 years, the Scott Early, Mickey Wilson era, that tide's turned a little bit and leaning more into Myrtle Beach's corner. But the last 2 years, Conway's won both the games. So the Victory Bell is what the teams play for. It has been in Conway and on Ashley Smith's mantle in his house. And now it's not going to come to my mantle on my house, but it's made the 15-mile trip back to the beach where it belongs.
Okay. Do y'all have a little replica that you share, that you go back and forth with?
No, we don't. But the kids had a great time. It was a TV game tonight as well. So after the game, Coach Wilson did an interview. And, Coach Wilson went to Conway. So he's a Conway guy from his early days. And they had an interview right in front of the Conway bleachers, which were empty by that time. And at the end, they all raised a victory bell. Cheerleaders, players, staff, and everybody. It was a full team win. These guys prepared great during the week and forgot everything that happened in the Camden game. And now they're going to have to forget it again and keep improving each week as the season goes on.
All right, Lane, thank you. I don't guess we'll talk to you next week. You'll be on your way to Los Angeles, so we'll catch you in a couple of weeks.
I'll be in La La Land.
You and Chris Bergen behave yourself.
We'll try not to.
Okay. Thank you very much, Lane Harris, who works with the Coastal Carolina crew as well as the voice of Myrtle Beach High School. Appreciate him being with us with that story on the win by Myrtle Beach. Let's quickly go to Garrett Mitchell. Got about 3 minutes before the break. Garrett's going to tell us about that Woodruff win tonight over Fountain Inn. Welcome in, Garrett. Good to have you with us.
Absolutely, Phil. Good to be back. I tell you, I was trying to get through last week and talk a little bit about the Chapman game, but it's better late than never. But it was a big win for the Wolverines tonight. It was a team. It's a Woodruff team that is so incredibly young. They returned only 4 starters, 2 on each side of the ball from a season ago. But head coach Brett Sloan has come in and has just rejuvenated the program. Has gotten the numbers up, a little over 80 kids between the varsity and JV teams. And, man, I'll tell you what, Woodruff sophomores and juniors put on a show tonight, and that makes up the bulk of their playmakers. Wolverines jumped out on top 14-0 in the first quarter. Sam Holliday, the quarterback for Fountain Inn, on the next drive, he found his way in on a scramble, and that turned out to be Fountain Inn's only score of the night. Woodruff just slowly pulled away from there, I believe, 29-6 at halftime, or 23-6 at halftime. And Woodruff just continued to stretch the lead out, and just a balanced attack, Phil. New quarterback TJ Morris, he's a junior. He took over for 3-year starter Carson Tucker. He had 3 touchdown passes last week. He had 3 more tonight. 2 of those came to sophomore Corey Moats. Keep an eye on this young man. He's a 5'11", 160-pound slot receiver, and he has speed to burn. He had 140 kickoff return yards against Chapman last week, 2 touchdowns tonight. Junior running back Trey Rogers, 2 touchdown runs tonight. And then the next great running back, they got inserted in the third quarter, Aiden Gibson. He's a freshman for the Wolverines at 6'1", 190 pounds. He rushed for over 100 yards in the second half and had a 15-yard touchdown run. And I tell you, youth is the movement of the day, and the future is now for Woodruff. It's a young team. They'll continue to grow and get better. By region play, this is going to be a dangerous team for anybody to match up against.
Thank you, my friend. Great job. Great win for Woodruff. Gray has beaten Crestwood in overtime, many overtimes, I'm sure, 62-60. BHP over Westside, 43-28. Be back.
Now listen closely to what I'm about to say. I'm a business owner, and many of you listening right now, you're business owners as well. The first rule in owning a business is this: don't waste money. I see business owners waste their marketing dollars all the time. Not me. I figured out a long time ago that spending my marketing dollars at the point was not only intentional, but extremely profitable as well. If you're a small business owner, you owe it to yourself to sit down with Kevin Cohen and ask him to create a custom marketing plan for your business. He's looking for folks just like you who believe in local to partner with him in 2023 and beyond. Trust me when I tell you, partnering with The Point works. You will see results, and your marketing budget will no longer be wasted. Give Kev a call at 803-563-8558 and tell him the Money Coach sent you.
The Point.
Annual Conference of Central Bankers in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Christine Lagarde, the president of the European Central Bank, told attendees that interest rates will have to stay high as long as necessary in the EU. SRN News.
Maybe you've heard about Medishare and you know what it is. It's the affordable alternative to health insurance. But you've wondered, can I really save a significant amount of money on my monthly health care bills? And the answer is an emphatic yes, you can. You can save a lot of money, whether it's just for you or for an entire family. Medishare has an option for you. In fact, the typical family saves $500 a month switching to Medishare. And it really is the gold standard when it comes to healthcare sharing. You get free telehealth services. You get a huge network of doctors. You get great customer support. And you get the sense of security that comes from being a part of 400,000 people who share not just each other's medical bills, but purpose too. Medishare is a community of Christians who pull together and pray for each other, which is very refreshing right now.
Reggie was a nurse for 16 years.
I had become very burnt out. I wasn't making good money.
Then it happened.
There was an ad for My Computer Career, and it just spoke to me.
My Computer Career was the best decision he ever made.
I could study anywhere from my laptop, and I was working in the first couple weeks of me being in class.
Reggie hit a home run.
The field is teeming with jobs.
Become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
The school is amazing.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu. This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Wake up, people. You are optimizing every waking hour of your life. From carpooling kids to work to friends and everything in between. You have to get sleep and a bed that can perform as well as you do. Meet the next generation Sleep Number Smart Bed. It effortlessly adjusts to your shape, position, and movements. Learning how you sleep so you learn to sleep better night after night. Sleep next level, only from Sleep Number. It's the biggest sale of the year. Save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition Smart Bed, plus special financing ends Monday. See store for details.
Have you filed for disability benefits but were denied by the Social Security Administration? Or do you need to apply and are overwhelmed with paperwork? Are you between the ages of 50 and 63 and can no longer work because of an illness or injury? Thousands of hardworking Americans are in your situation. They file for disability benefits and are unnecessarily denied their much-needed benefit check. Call now for a no-obligation, free evaluation. We can help you nearly double your chances of approval and get your benefit checks faster. We understand the physical, emotional, and financial impact. We'll share our insider expertise and help you get your disability claim filed and paid immediately. There is a time limit to apply, so call right now. Operators are standing by to help you.
800-721-7114. 800-721-7114. 800-721-7114. That's 800-721-7114. Can your IRA stand up to the next financial crisis that our top economists are saying is at our doorsteps? By allocating a percentage of your IRA into physical gold and silver with a tax-free rollover, you can diversify and safeguard your holdings from turbulent markets and economic downturns by putting your IRA back on the gold standard. Find out how to safeguard your assets with a tax-free rollover with a Genesis Gold IRA, the only IRA that can hold physical precious metals. Call now for your free gold and silver report. Protect your IRA today with one simple phone call and learn how to qualify for up to $10,000 in free silver. Call Genesis Gold Group, empowering faith-driven stewardship. 800-590-6470. 800-590-6470. 800-590-6470. That's 800-590-6470.
And we're back on the high school football scoreboard. Brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union all across the state of South Carolina. Great to have you with us. It's been a very interesting night, to say the least. A lot of great football, couple of sad situations in stands involving fans. Wouldn't call them fans. I would call them derelicts. And just causing mayhem and problems for people. More on that in a moment. We'll go back over the scores in a moment. Coach Hodge from Spartanburg is going to join us in just a second, but Monty Dutton called in right before the break to give us the recap of the Clinton and Lawrence game tonight. Big rivalry game, always in the upstate. But Monty, Clinton rolled it up on the Raiders once again, 49-7. Red Devils, I'm sure they ran the ball left, ran the ball right, and probably ran the ball up the middle.
Had 394 yards and 369 were on the ground. The leading rusher was their quarterback, Deshaun Richardson, who averaged 14.8 a carry. But very much like against Batesburg, when they scored 50 against Batesburg, 49 tonight. One of the odd things about the game is that the quarterback who threw 32 times for Lawrence, Nick Dansew, played against Lawrence for Hillcrest last week. He enrolled. He wasn't the starter at Hillcrest. But he took 8 snaps. But he played for Lawrence. He was 11 of 32 for 109 yards. But that's a first for me. But he enrolled in Lawrence, Hillcrest is right. Part of Hillcrest is in, part of Simpsonville is in Lawrence County. So that was an oddity in the game. But other than that, it's hard to. Clinton had a linebacker named Brett Young who played a fantastic game, and the quarterback is first-year starter, is just a fantastic all-around player. And last week, Clinton had 7 players score 7 touchdowns, and this week they just had they had 5 players who scored 7 touchdowns. So the Red Devils are rolling again, and next comes Newberry at home in the first home game next week, and Lawrence takes on Belton Honeypath. But the Red Devils outgained the Raiders 394 to 165. Clinton leads the all-time series 62-32 to 2, and it was the 96th game between Clinton and Lawrence.
Wow. Let me make sure I got this right. So the Lawrence quarterback tonight actually was playing for Hillcrest last week.
Against Lawrence.
Against Lawrence. And now, during the week,
he wasn't the starter.
Right.
He transferred, and they got his eligibility in on Monday.
Right.
And Lawrence's quarterback, Nick Fowler, considers himself more of a prospect as a wide receiver, so it was fine by him. So Lawrence had a quarterback who wasn't on the team last week.
Wow. And was playing for somebody else, or was on somebody else's team?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was on the Hillcrest roster when Hillcrest beat Lawrence 55-9 a week ago.
Wow. Okay. Yep, that's the world we live in. Thank you, Monty. Appreciate it. Talk to you next week. Clinton continues to roll along with that very strong running game. We'll get David's thoughts on that in just a moment, but we've got Coach Mark Hodge from Spartanburg High School standing by. What a win tonight for his Vikings on the road, coming to Columbia and beating Dutch Fork 17-6. First of all, Coach, congratulations to you and your team on that win. How do you feel about the way you guys played overall tonight? Okay. Not hearing Coach. Do we have Coach with us? JP. Not hearing Coach Hodge at this point. Spartanburg a winner tonight on the road at Dutch Fork to even their record at 1-1. And Dutch Fork falls to 0-2, something we haven't said very much over the years, if at all. Dutch Fork 0-2. But as David said, Dutch Fork will bounce back, and certainly they will. Too talented, too well coached. And big win for Spartanburg after a season opening loss last night. They win at 17-6. So let's see. We're going to try it here again in just a moment while JP gets that sorted out. We've got a couple of other new scores in. Louisville beat Buford 49-0. Jefferson of Georgia finished off their win over Wren by a score of 30-14. And also, just saw another score I wanted to pass along as soon as I can put my eyes back on it. Hillcrest beat Greer 41-20. Now, we have Coach Hodge. Coach, are you with us? Nope, not hearing. Sounds like I'm hearing something, and then it drops out. I just don't understand why we're having this issue repeatedly. JP, you want to try him one more time and see if we can get him on the air, because we're not hearing anything, and it's pretty embarrassing to keep going to people and not getting them on the air. Yeah, big win for Hillcrest over Greer. That's it. Well, David, are you with me at this point? Okay. I don't think anybody is, so I'll just talk to myself. Pretty interesting, though, that you have a player who was at Hillcrest, backup quarterback, and he played against Lawrence last week. And then during the week, he transfers to Lawrence, and now he's the starting quarterback at Lawrence and played tonight against Clinton. Pretty interesting how these transfers can work these days, but I guess it was all legal beagle and able to do it within the high school league rules. As Monty said, part of Lawrence County covers the area where the young man lives, so made it pretty easy from a high school league standpoint. Okay, JP, want to try it again with Coach Hodge?
Hey there.
Okay, Coach, are you with us?
Yes, sir. How are you tonight?
Hey, we apologize for the issue there. Don't know what's going on with the phone system, but glad to have you with us. As I said a moment ago, congratulations on the win on the road at Dutch Fork. Boy, anytime you can beat Dutch Fork, that's something to savor, I'm sure.
Oh, it's great, man. We love playing those guys. I mean, they bring out the best of you in your team and your coach and everything else. And so it's a huge, huge victory for our kids. They played really, really hard and just super proud of them.
So defensively tonight, that had to be a stand-up moment for you, the way those guys played. What caught your attention about the defense? How could you hold those guys to 6 points like that?
Yeah, it's been a rough go really for us, Harper. You know, we took over the program during COVID, and last year we finally got to where we could expose some of our weaknesses. And in January, we made a point that we were going to be strong and we were going to be disciplined and we were going to fight. We weren't going to worry about the scope. And everything we've done has been about that. And our kids have responded unbelievably well. And that's what a victory means so much tonight is it's showing them a return on their investment. And so we just played hard. It didn't matter where the ball was. We had the ball down and backed up deep a couple times and things of that. They just kept playing the next play, and we were rewarded for it.
Offensively, 17 points, enough to get the win tonight. How would you describe the offensive performance?
I'm really excited about our offense. We got basically 4 brand new offensive linemen and a new quarterback, and some new running backs as well. We got Trey Harris coming back. It's the only back we got back right now, and so they're learning on the fly and they're learning in the fire. And so as we keep playing teams like this, I can see what this offense is about to become. We're a few weeks away from actually getting there, but we did just enough. We made plays when we had to make plays, and we were physical when we needed to be physical, and got some first downs on some short yardage. We went for it on 4th down deep in our own territory and got it. And so we did enough to win, but I'm really excited because I can see where this offense is going to be 6-7 weeks from now.
Yeah. And bouncing back from a loss last week, a season-opening loss last week, and knowing you're going to have to go on the road to play, Dutch Fork. What did you say to your players after last week and during the week and getting them out of whatever mood they were in after that loss and getting their focus on Dutch Fork?
Well, that's what I was so happy about is we got back on Monday, and, it hurt for a little bit because we had chances, in that game, and we missed some plays here and there. And, they came in eager. They wanted to be coached, and after about on that game, they didn't think nothing else about it. They just went on back to work. And so that's why, I think we played as well as we did. Our coaches had a great game plan, coached really hard, and it's just a testament to the kids just to keep your eyes moving forward, take the next step. We talk about get to the next meal sometimes. When things aren't going your way, just get to the next meal. And, they did that. They did it all week long, and, we just got to the next possession, and at the end of the game, we had a few more points than they did.
Well, congratulations once again. That's a terrific win for Spartanburg High School to come into Dutch Fork out in Irmo and get that victory. Who knows? May see you guys meet up again later on down the road. So,
yeah, we all had that conversation in the handshake line. I mean, they're like 2 great programs, and we got great respect for them, and I think they do for us as well. So we're planning on it.
Yeah, did Coach not say, "Hey, man, I got a long memory, so we'll see you in November"?
Oh, absolutely. He does. I mean, he's been great to me, and we love playing him. I play him every week if we could, and you got to give it. Like I told the kids, man, you got to respect your opponent. And that's the best that's in the state's got to offer. And they play hard against us, we play hard against them, and I'm sure we'll see them again down the road.
Well, I think the fans would love to see it. Congratulations once again. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you. God bless, and go Vikings.
Thank you very much, Mark Hodge from Spartanburg. What a win. David, that's a great win for Spartan High, again, to come on the road and go into Dutch Fork land and get that victory. That's something not to be taken for granted, for sure, if you're Spartanburg. And I think we've lost David for the time being, so we'll try and reconnect with him. Do we have Justin Mackles on with us right now, who was at the Burns and Chapman game tonight? And Chapman gets the win over Burns. Justin, are you with us?
Yes, sir, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, we got you. How are you, man?
Well,
and I think we misidentified you. I was going by what was written. This was Justin Mathis, not Mackles, Justin Mathis. And Burns and Chapman, take it away. Chapman wins it.
Yeah, Phil, that was literally, the old cliche tale of two halves. Well, if you look in Webster's dictionary, this one might be in there by tomorrow. But Chapman got off to a rough start. 14-0. The Rebels kind of got a couple of quick scores on two drives that were each 5 plays or less in that first half. And quite honestly, the MVP of the game should go to the Panther defense to hold Burns to 14 points for the better part of the last, I would say, 3 quarters in this ball game. Is that's what made it possible for Chapman to even have a shot in this game. They returned 15 starters to this team from last year. Chapman got off to a rough start in 2022, but this year, quite the opposite has happened. They've had a couple of guys that really stepped up, including a newcomer in Bennett Smith. As Bennett Smith has stepped up, he's a newcomer to the Panthers defense and also played a little bit of offense as well, made a couple of key catches, including one that kept a drive alive following a turnover and made it possible for Chapman to really drive down the field and go ahead for the first time all night long. I mean, that young man deserves a steak dinner or something. Huh. But, I mean, he was all over the field because, difference between 3A and 5A in terms of numbers. But you just tip your hat to the Panther defense. They were very locked in, made it possible. Defense forced 3 turnovers in that second half, 2 of which Chapman was able to turn into 7 points. And ultimately, that was the difference in the game, is defense stepping up.
Well, that's a heck of a win for Chapman. Like you said, anytime you hold Burns or that low of a total, you've done a terrific job on the defensive side. Justin, thanks very much, and we'll talk to you next week from your ball game. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, sir. I'll be at Chapman Bowling Springs next week. A battle with 2 really good teams, next-door neighbors.
Look forward to hearing from you, man. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Okay, Justin Mathis. Liberty beat Blue Ridge 41-19. Central over Parkwood of North Carolina 35-3. Edisto beat Williston Elko 30-19. Christchurch 61. Southside nothing. And Woodmont over Walhalla 48-28. Landrum 36. Berea 7. As you just heard, Chapman beat Burns 17-14. Travelers Rest over Wade Hampton 60-27. And Dorman finished off North Augusta 34-13. Belton Honeypath over Westside 43-28. All right, we'll go to the break here, come back and wrap things up. Last segment of the broadcast, more from David, and catch you up on some more scores on this Friday night. I think we practically got everything in. And so, more scores coming up, more thoughts from David. And I think if we have any more reporters check in with us, we'll get them on as well. If we can, we'll be back in a moment.
Looking for a way to fight back against inflation? One viable way to help your money stay relevant during inflation is through investing. To a new investor, investing can feel like a puzzle. With so many pieces to consider, it can be hard to know where to start. But with the right guidance along the way, you can put the pieces together to create a winning strategy. That's where Founders Investment Services come in. Our team of financial advisors can help you navigate the complexities of investing and create a personalized plan that fits your goals and risk tolerance. We'll work with you to identify the pieces of your puzzle and how they fit into your financial future. When you're ready to find the pieces to your financial plan, call 866-739-7064 to speak with one of our specialists, or visit foundersfcuinvestments.com to learn about how we can help you identify the key pieces to your financial plans. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA, SIPC, and not NCUA insured. Not guaranteed by credit union and may lose value.
If you're looking to stay hydrated this summer, turn toward a southern favorite, sweet South Carolina watermelons. One slice is equivalent to a glass of water and is just as effective as sports drinks for hydration. If you don't believe us, you can ask the Palmetto State's top football teams. The SC Watermelon Association will be serving up slices after summer practice to keep our teams fueled and hydrated. Visit scwatermelon.org for all the details and look for ripe South Carolina watermelons in your hometown.
All right, West Coast beat Carolina Academy 35-12. Hampton County over Allendale Fairfax 41-8. Manning shuts out Scotts Branch 50-0. And Edisto over Wilson Elko 30-19. Just trying to make sure I've touched on every game at least once tonight, which I think we have. I think we pretty much hit on every score that's come in to us so far tonight. I want to mention a very nice, well, it used to be called Twitter. Now it's called X, a very nice X page. SC High School Football Updates. Might be worth putting them on your follow list to keep up with high school football scores. They do an aggregate on Friday nights. The old SC Sports Source, I believe the person who was doing that has given it up, is not doing it this year. So looks like we've got a nice X page here. SC High School Football Updates. Their address is at S_CS Sports. At S_CS Sports. So a shout out to them because it's helpful to us, along with what we find in the newspapers and on the score stream and everywhere else, folks calling in scores. Look, we look for scores for everywhere we can find them, David, from the Waffle House to the dressing room to who knows where, from the kitchen. We'll take your score from anywhere.
Well, we used to get them, back in the 90s, we used to call Waffle Houses during the break and see, hey, is anybody from such and such a high school in there? And they'd be like, we won 14-7. You want to be on the radio? Oh, heck no, I'm drunk.
The ones I love are the ones when we call the Waffle House or the corner pantry or someplace near a stadium. They go, yeah, I know the Devil Dogs won. I just don't know the score. At least that's what I've heard from the cops that have come in here, or cops would be at the game, but they wouldn't know the score, but they could tell you who won, So
I've been off the air for a while, but did you see the Gray Crestwood final score?
Yeah, I saw that. Any ideas on what happened in that game?
Well, yeah, there was 122 points scored. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, I wonder how many OTs it went.
What I'm reading here doesn't say how many, but Michael Bulware had 2 key defensive stops on a 2-point conversion attempt. Is that related to?
Yes.
Oh, wow. He's great now, huh?
That would be, yes. He was at Spring Valley in the offseason, transferred to Gray. He is the son of Michael Bulware.
Right.
Remember Michael Bulware?
Junior. He must be a junior then, because this says Michael Bulware.
Yeah, it'd be a junior. Yeah. His uncle would be Peter Bulware, the great defensive end.
Yes. Boy, they were some dudes back in the day. I ain't kidding you.
Yes,
back then when they played, I did the show with you from your studio. Mm-hmm. So I would always go to a game in Columbia, so I'd always end up over like at Spring Valley. Or, Richmond Northeast used their stadium then, so it'd be one or the other every weekend. And, I saw some Bullwares do some stuff in those days.
Great athletic family. Not just, you had 3 football players, right? Raleigh Bulware, Peter Bulware, Michael Bulware, and then their sister was a terrific track athlete at Notre Dame.
Was it Kayla Bulware?
Yeah, Kayla. Mm-hmm.
Was it? Yeah, mm-hmm. That's it. Yeah, that's a hell of a family.
All right, hang on. We have somebody from the Gray Collegiate Crestwood game. It's Tommy. So, Tommy, welcome in. How are you?
Hey, Phil. Yeah, it's the game ended about
15 minutes ago. Spoke about sort of was like a heavyweight fight.
Hang on. This is Thomas Grant. All I had was Tommy, so now I recognize the voice. Thomas Grant with the SC Prep Zone. We got about 2 minutes, Thomas, if you can kind of give us an overview of how they ended up winning this thing.
Well, this game was wild right from the beginning. Gray had a pooch punt that they recovered, and then that just sort of set the stage for the Jamarius Lockett show, where he ended up having the first of his 4 touchdown catches. And then the next possession, Crestwood came back. Javion Martin basically shows why he should probably be getting more than Division II offers. Mm-hmm. Although there's one touchdown he did have, if you see on my timeline, it's going to be a lot of questions about it. He was given credit for a 10-yard touchdown run, although it looked like he fumbled at the 4-yard line.
I saw that piece of video you put out. Yeah, that was close.
You will call it close.
Yeah.
But this was one of those games where you had 3 players. You had Nelson, his running back, Azarian Yates, and then also Lockett, all had 4 touchdowns. You had B.J. Montgomery, who had 3 touchdowns, 1 on special teams and 2 rushing. I mean, it was basically back and forth. But the key point of the game, I just heard you were talking about the Ballworth family, but Michael Jr. came up with 2 big defensive stops on 2-point conversions that really turned out to be the difference in the game.
Is he going to be special?
He's scratching the tip of his potential right now. I mean, he's a guy, he already has the smarts. He's very humble. He's, the thing they're hoping for is once he gets into the weight room, that he's really going to be somebody who's going to be one of their top forces, not only just on the defensive line, but just, I mean, right now you could just sort of see that he could be a special player.
Real quick before we let you go, how did Gray win it at the very end?
Well, that was what is the key. It came down to after both times they had to get 2. It was basically the second defensive stop on 4th down where Boulware was able to get the sack on Nelson as he tried to tie the game.
Okay.
He got that sack, and then that's what ended up from there. Gray was able to run out the remaining 2 minutes.
Gotcha. Was the game in did it go to overtime?
No, the reason it lasted so long.
Okay.
No, the reason this game lasted so long, it took 1 hour. I kid you not, it took 1 hour to play the third quarter because you had so many players that were cramping up. They had to stop the game almost every 2 minutes.
Oh my gosh. Thomas, thank you so much, man, for getting to us. That's great info. Folks can look for your write-up at SC Prep Zone, and we'll talk to you next week. Thank you very much. David, thank you, man. Great job. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, man.
And thank you, JP, and thanks, everybody, for joining us tonight. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.
Weekdays from 7 to 9 on The Point. It's Kev and Brian in the morning. The news, the traffic 4 times an hour, and your daily forecast. Topics to